It's absolutely enormous.
And this is a real spirit from Luke Humphries.
And it's happened again.
Massive opportunity now for Luke Humphries.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's a brilliant leg from Coolhand.
The tension, the drama.
Coolhand Luke kept his cool in the end. Unbelievable.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome back to the action. We are coming to you live on Sky Sports from the great city of Belfast. It's the BetMGM Premier League, and this is our Belfast final on night number 1. Time to meet the finalists. Would you please welcome first a former Masters champion, the winner of 5 PDC titles, a World Championship semi-finalist, ladies and gentlemen, Hollywood Dobey!
For our final then, here on night 1, Dobey versus Humphries in our showpiece event here in Belfast. Well, Luke Humphries, the world number 1, he's been very good tonight, hasn't he? Started it all off with a 6-2 win over Nathan Aspinall in the quarterfinals, averaged 105, and then has just beaten Michael van Gerwen in a last leg decider in the semi-finals. Runner-up in the Premier League last year, of course, finished second in the league phase, made 6 finals across that campaign, 4 night wins. What can he do here this evening? Well, Chris Dobey has had a pretty good night as well. Kicked it all off with a 6-4 win over Gerwin Price, and then a 6-4 semi-final victory over Rob Cross. He made a couple of finals during his 2023 Premier League campaign. The 1 nightly win, so he's already made a very good start to this season. But can he go all the way? For the last time tonight then, let's head to comms and join Glenn Durrant and Rod Studd.
Thank you, Emma. Well, Luke Humphries won 4 nightly rounds in the Premier League in 2024, and he starts off as a big favourite here to win the first nightly round of 2025 here in Belfast. But he's up against a man who has course and distance form, because Chris Dobey won here a couple of years ago, sinking MVG in a last leg shootout in the final with a 160 outshot to wrap it up. So can he spring another surprise by beating the former world champion Luke Humphries here. Well, this is some way to start. Let's keep an eye on this. 140 start for Chris Dobey before we get the thoughts of Dr. Glenn Durran.
Yeah, really looking forward to this. I thought there was a real opportunity at the top section of the draw today. Chris Dobey came through with those mighty fine wins. I guess they always knew they were going to have a really tough final, and it's Luke Humphries who has come through that bottom half with the likes of Luke Littler and very impressive Michael van Gerwen tonight. So as you said, Humphries will go as favourite, but Dobey will be feeling good about himself. I guess it feels like a real bonus when you get to the final. Now we'll want to just see out the job.
Well, at the start of the tournament, Luke Littler was the favourite to win the big prize when we head to London, the O2 Arena in May, but Littler has not picked up a point tonight, losing his first game to MVG, and he could trail, well, he will trail one of these two players by 5 points. He could trail his big rival Humphries by 5 on the league ladder.
Yeah, very interesting. I just see the conversation I had there. When you're playing these arenas, sometimes the airflow can be just a little bit different. They both just said to each other, it feels like there's a draft on the stage. It's almost like you can see the darts just not flying as normal.
Come on, man, Glenn. It's a results industry, not an excuse-making industry.
Just need to give expert punditry as Humphries up to an expert finish. What draft?
Well, maybe like some golfers, he's a good wind player. In golf, they were talking about a 1-club wind or a 2-club wind. Maybe it's only a 1-dart wind here. And Humphries was able to navigate his way to a 2-treble to double finish, and then to can the first maxi of the match. At the start of the second, Humphries off to a flyer here. Has a marginal head-to-head record over his opponent this evening, 8-7. Coming in off the back, beating MVG. Will be bouncing up there, Luke Humphries, and off the back, of course, of winning the Masters in Milton Keynes on the weekend.
Yeah, that head-to-head as well, Rod. There's been a couple of games that stand out. A game in 2021 at Alexander Palace where Chris Dobey was winning that match 3-1. Ended up losing at 4-3 to Luke Humphries with the deciding set going 5-3. So they've got history between them, but it's about the here and now. A sublime start from Luke Humphries with that finish. And Dobey looking good, unless something special's coming from Luke Humphries.
Not find the 619s. So Dobey here looking at 89 to level up. 20 leaves the ball. The treble would leave double 5. That leaves absolutely nothing.
74.
Of course, when you go for the 25, you obviously hit the bullseye. Chance of Humphries. Decision to make. Such a good marker. What a finish. 1-8, 100. That's why Luke Humphries is the world #1.
Well, and Luke Littler's misery here may just be a little bit more, because not only is he going to get no points to Humphries' possible 5, his great rival, his namesake, is now finishing legs on his favourite double 10 just to rub salt into the wounds. As Dobey fires in a 180.
The Bedlington Terrier, he won't be giving up on this task. So impressed with Luke Humphries. Everything he does on and off the hockey, it's just top rank, first class.
Stylish stuff from the former world champion, but still, Mark, you the world #1. Difficult to know, without being a mind reader, what Luke Humphries really thinks about the hullabaloo surrounding Littler. He's a master of diplomacy, but what he really thinks he may well keep to himself, because I'm pretty sure he still believes he's the best player in the world. The ranking says he is. The odds makers say he's not.
Yeah, he lets the darts do the talking. Sometimes when you've got all that media interest, it's actually difficult to just get on with the day job. So part of me thinks that Humphries just likes the situation that is.
Well, let's ask an expert pundit. Who's better, Humphries or Littler?
Great effort there from Chris Dobey.
Oh, it's
Sorry, Rod.
pathetic. If they were playing each other, who would you back to win over the best of 13 sets in the World Final? Let's watch Dobey first before Glenn comes out with another fence-sitting escapade. Nothing there after the second dart, so Humphries coming back for double top for 3-0, and maybe that'll help Glenn make up his mind.
Will it be double 10 again? Doesn't even get a sniff. 3-0 in record time. Superstar. He has got a couple of issues. He was just looking around, wasn't happy with the flight. That seems to all have been sorted out very quickly in this game, and in a very short space of time. 3-0 up. Lots of work to do for Chris Dobey.
Yeah, he's got, well, he was an underdog when the match started, so he had to find a way of upsetting the odds when they towed the hockey for the first time, but now the odds have just got even longer and longer and longer against Chris Dobey.
Just the first little shake of the head for Chris Dobey. I guess when you get to the final, if you'd have offered him that this morning, it's a great way to start your campaign, but when you actually get there and you get that opportunity, I feel like that's ones that got away. And one thing that Luke Humphries is so good at, Rod, is when he has a lead, he usually sees it out, so could be a monumental effort for the Geordie.
Well, the bottom line is, when you're a competitor, you want to win. The fact that a final is a decent result will not come into it at this moment in time. He wants to win as a competitor.
Yeah, that's why they're elite players on that stage, and why some people talk about it with a mic in the hand.
Well, he's in charge of this leg, Chris Dobey.
72.
He's on a 2-dart combo. But Humphries could be on a single darter if he can fill this up. Oh, can he ever?
Sometimes that can be helped, because your brain saying this now has to go.
Has to go. Has to go. Humphries is ready to swoop. He'll get his chance. He's earned his chance, he'll feel.
28.
He'll see that as a forced error by his opponent. He wants double 14 for 4-0. There it is.
On the fourth leg, Luke Humphries. Fifth leg, Luke
Yeah, fair play to Dobey in the background there, little come on, but yeah, it's almost like a resigned look as well, because when you get those opportunities, that 180 there from Luke Humphries, just so impressive, because 52, it's looking inviting, you're looking good for the leg, and you hear that, the score, the maximum, puts the pressure on, he blinks, Humphries sees it out, big lead.
First darts at double there, weren't they, for Dobey? That's how dominant Luke Humphries has been in this darts match.
Yeah, doubles has been so fundamental to the success of Luke Humphries, and 4 from 5 on the doubles here. Just a classy operator.
134.
It's been a display of ruthless efficiency and excellence from Cool Hand Luke.
96.
He's measured, he's professional. He's tough to beat. Had a little bit of luck in his side in the semi-final. I thought Michael van Gerwen's been brilliant tonight. Hopefully he sees the positives from what's been a night he probably feels he should have been walking away with the win. But when things are going your way, sometimes you get that rub of the green. He's looking good. To see this match out, Dobey needs to find something special now.
We've seen the pizzazz, the panache from Littler and Van Gerwen. We're now seeing the ruthless efficiency of the master craftsman Luke Humphries.
We talked about there's only been a couple of darts at a double for Dobey. We'll expect at least a dart at 76. It is only going to be the one, so it's a big 16 for the tops to really start getting himself going. It's just not happening. And look at the finish Humphries needs. He's been here before.
He has indeed. This for 5-0. Leaves double 10 again. Finds it again. So similar to leg 2. And every leg has been similar in the sense that Humphries has won it. 5-0 in a race to 6.
Rod, if we look at that second leg and the way the 100 finish went, I think dart for dart they were exactly on the point where they were, just above the treble, in the treble 20, smack bang in the double 10.
Well, you talk about replicating actions, replicating technique. Doing it to that level of perfection happens very rarely. Well, Humphries when playing at his very best, like he was at the match play last summer, has that air of turning up for work, doing the job, going home and coming back and doing it again. Turns up, wins, goes home, comes back again, wins again.
Yeah, it must be the best feeling in the world right now for Luke Humphries. Maybe that match in the semi-final was the one to get over the line in for Chris Dobey. He doesn't give an awful lot away. When he looks back, he's had a satisfactory night. He's got his 2025 campaign up and running. Humphries a possible 6 starts, surely not another set of a 180.
Well, you've got to give kudos to Peter Wright, but the more you think about it, the more perplexing that result was at the World Championship when Snakey knocked out Coolan. Dobey wants the ball to stay alive, to stay afloat. Chris Dobey, darting defiance.
What a great touch there from Luke Humphries. You don't want to see your opponent really struggle in a final like this. I mean, don't get me wrong, if it's 5-4, he might change his mind there, but it was just a lovely little touch there. Nice, like it. Total respect.
Well, Humphries, as Glenn said, won't be too worried about losing that leg to make it 5-1 in his favour. But if it goes 5-4, he might have a very different demeanour, and that might change Dobey's demeanour.
We've seen in these best of 11s, comebacks can happen. But when you're playing Luke Humphries, it's almost like you're expecting him to kick into that afterburner gear that he's got. What a great night, Rod. I think we've seen a little bit of everything, some monster averages, some wonderful matchups, and just whets the appetite for a fantastic 2025 Premier League.
Yes, on to Glasgow in week 2, Glenn. And I'm pretty sure I caught the fixtures for next week, and it's Dobey versus Humphries in the first round of matches. Double 10 would have been left with a treble 20 there. Tops is left now.
Well, it's been a masterclass of finishing from Luke Humphries in this game. It put him in a fantastic position. Dobey needs something special. He needs the treble, doesn't get it. Humphries back.
Well, Chris Dobey, who won in Belfast a couple of years ago, is going to finish second here if Luke Humphries can hit tops. Luke Humphries, the world #1, is in the winner's enclosure in week 1 of the 2025 Premier League.
Yeah, brilliant performance. Masterful, one-sided. #1, he says to his friends and family there. He applauds this wonderful crowd. They've played their part in a fantastic night. But the world #1, he's supreme, he's professional. And the precision there was absolutely superb. And the stats are a pretty good reading for Luke Humphries, Rod.
Yeah, Van Gerwen had him in trouble, but the final was an absolute breeze. And as you say, Glenn, those stats will make very pleasing reading for the world #1. Pick out the key statistics for us, Glenn, if you could.
Yeah, bottom right is what it's all about. Doubles for doors, 6 from 7. They had a few problems early doors with the throw, but in the end it was a masterclass of finishing from Luke Humphries. It started with that sublime 1-2-8 finish, a couple of ton finishes as well, and Dobey was second best in that game.
Well, what a start to this Premier League season then for Luke Humphries. Said it earlier, 4 night wins in 2024. That was en route to finals night. The world #1, of course, runner-up at the O2 Arena last year. One of the big favourites this time around. Here's a little look at how the table looks then after night 1. 5 points for the world #1. Not a bad start, is it? Chris Dobey leaves Belfast on 3. Michael Van Gerwen and Rob Cross leave on 2 points. Then you can see Luke Littler, Gerwin Price, Stephen Bunting and Nathan Aspinall going to look to get off the mark next week in Glasgow. Well, Luke Humphries is here with us. You get a trophy every week. You know that very well after last season. You know all about it. What a perfect start to this new Premier League season. How do you reflect on the night as a whole?
Yeah, I thought I played pretty well in the first game. Against Michael, I was very fortunate. It's not usually like him to miss the amount of doubles, but I think it was 8th or 9th leg, and he let me in. And then in that final, me and Chris noticed a little bit of a breeze. It was tough to play through, but they were blowing my darts in the double, so I was happy. You know what I mean?
Your finishing was ridiculous. 3-ton plus outs, 83% on the outer ring.
Yeah, hopefully there's a breeze more.
We can't just blame the draft here.
Yeah, well, they were blowing my darts in, so I'm happy. But yeah, it was, you know, of course it's a tough game to play one of your mates. You know, I played Nathan tonight, played Michael and Chris. You know, they're all close friends of mine. So yeah, but I'm happy to get a good start because my goal was to just get in the top 4. That's all that matters. You finish first, you finish second, third, or fourth. It does not matter as long as you're in that top 4. So great start for myself, and I thought I followed on from last weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Luke, easy to forget this is only your second Premier League campaign. What lessons have you learned from sort of last year?
Yeah, not too much to be honest. I think last year I knew it was going to be tough, and it was tough. And already tonight I felt a little bit tired in the back end of the tournament. But you just learn all the time. I think you're always striving for better. You always want to be the better person. And there's so many great players, and I think this is the hardest Premier League for a very, very long time. And for me, nights like this, you got to be careful that it might not happen as much as you want. So yeah, it's important that you get off to a good start, because last 2 years I haven't got off to a great start in the seasons. So for me, it's a nice way to start off the season a lot better than I usually do. But these are tough. You learn a lot. Every year you play in it, you learn. But it's hard to learn anything different from what I did last year. I did great last year, and hoping to do the same this year.
Why do you believe it's the hardest?
I just think this year, I think Nathan's playing a lot better than he was last year. Gezzy's playing better. Rob Cross is playing better. And Chris Dobey, he's in form. Last year, Rob, Gezzy and Peter Wright, they weren't in form. This year, there's a lot more players in form. So I do think that PDC made the right call. The right players are in. I do think it's going to be a very, very tough Premier League. I think you're not going to see someone stuck at the bottom for a long time. It's all going to chop and change. So I think it's going to be really, really tough this year.
Do you and sort of Luke take ownership for this? Do you and Luke kind of take ownership for this rise in levels then, if that's what you're saying? Are you saying that everybody's levels have risen, basically? But do you take a little bit of responsibility for that? Yeah,
sure. I mean, the way he's playing, it's unbelievable. You're watching that Mike Van Gogh game, and that was just... it'd be very lucky for anybody to match another game like that. He's just unbelievable. He's by far one of the greatest dart players I've ever seen in my career, and he's definitely... I'm not disrespecting myself. I just think he's the best player in the world, and if he goes out, then I'm the one to beat. But he's definitely the man to beat. He's just unbelievable. He plays darts at such a great pace. He smashes in the treble to doubles. This is what happened to me last year. Everyone wanted to beat you. There's a target on your back, and you're averaging 114, 108, and everyone's beating you. So he's still the best player in the world. But for me, I know that I can still play at a decent standard, and I can still win things.
You're funny.
You mentioned top 4, Luke, sort of minimum requirement. Have you got a points total in mind, or is it just as simple as just keep winning?
Yeah, I mean, just for me, it's just being in the top 4. You want to make it to the O2. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. And of course, you want to top the league. You want to be the one that everyone watches out for, and you want to do what Luke did last year. But for me, I'm not too focused on being the top player. I think my consistency levels can drop here and there and over weeks, but for me, I feel like as long as I make that top 4, that's all that really matters.
Congratulations. We'll let you go because we know you've got other media to do. You were all right tonight.
Weren't too bad.
No, you weren't too bad. Very well done. Well done. I've got no hands left. Right, well, he goes off stage. Let's just take a little look at the quarter-final lineup for next week then. First up, Rob Cross meets Luke Littler, then Van Gerwen goes head-to-head with Stephen Bunting. Aspen and Price, both of them will want to get off the mark. And then, we've got a repeat of tonight's final. Luke Humphries faces Chris Dobey.